Let the chaos guide you out of perfection this month. It'll be the imperfectly perfect moment that will free you forever. Libra, the spiritual advice card that I have pulled for you, or the ones that fell out, there's actually two of them. The first one is the Seven of Spades, and the second one that fell out is the Queen of Spades. Now, let's unpack the Seven of Spades. I feel like there is a situation that has happened just recently, maybe the last couple of weeks. A lot of you have been dealing maybe either with a situation that impacted your production or being productive or producing something in particular. And then also a situation where it's very near and dear to your heart, something that was very, very personal to you that sort of abruptly came to a pause, or you had to sort of step back and take some time out. Now, this situation occurred for a particular reason, because during this time, you actually started to think a lot more about who you want to be when it comes to particular roles, career goals, hobbies, or any kind of goals that you're setting, especially in the beginning of this year, especially for what it is that you're trying to create and what it is that you're trying to do for this year. What are some of the things you want to experience? What are some of the goals you want? What are some of the things that you desire? All of these things sort of have come to this point where you had to rethink it now, right? The details of those things are being worked out in this very month. And so it seems like there's a little bit of this chaos, or it seems like there's a lot that is going on, and there's a lot maybe on your plate. For a lot of you, I'm seeing that there is a lot to handle. And so now you're taking on a new approach because you want maybe your role or your set of responsibilities to change. And so this is the beginning stages of it. Now, for many of you, it's not going to be true for all of the Libras. I do see that you are going to get this opportunity that is going to come out of the blue or out of nowhere, that is sort of going to set the tone for what else is possible this year. It's not going to be the only opportunity that is going to give you a little bit of this boost and energy and vitality in regards to things that you wanted to kind of maybe experience that are exciting, that are not this place that felt a bit boring or stuck. And so now you're going to come out of that. You are going to have to let go, though, of a particular set of responsibility, whether that is now or in 6 months from now. That sort of vision and that epiphany is going to come through now in the month of January. So a part of you will maybe prep. Some of you might even let it go now. I do see that a lot of you are going to start to pave the way to start to let go of a set of responsibilities. It could be a second job. It could be something else that you're doing right now that you feel is part of your life that you just don't want anymore. For a lot of you, I see it's either a work situation, a part-time work, or it's some kind of hobby or a set of responsibility you have to another person where you're helping them either grow their business or something like that. So I feel that it is going to come to an end this year. And so you get sort of the first picture of what that is going to be. And then you're going to start to pave the way so that you can create some more space and time for the things that you really want to do. So that's what I'm seeing. It's a lot for the month of January 2022, but let's dive into the chart and see what else this month is going to bring to you guys. So the full moon in Cancer initiates the 4th and the 10th house. This full moon is going to be, it's sort of like emotionally feeling ready, to kind of move forward, to do things different. There's a sense of readiness with this full moon in Cancer. And it is definitely an over emotional moon because it's in the sign of Cancer. Obviously, the moon is comfortable being in the sign of Cancer, but it's also at 27 degrees. And 27 degrees is a powerful number. It is an engaging number. It's an engaging degree, no matter what it transits through. Now, what we're engaging in, I believe this week, is having a different turnaround to our life, something surprising, something that is unexpected, and things turn out a little bit better than what we expected. Obviously, there's still going to be some challenges just because some of the planets right now are really just asking us to grow and asking us to mature at some level and to think about what the truth is on how we are at this time and what the truth needs to be moving forward. I think that is the biggest sort of bird's eye view. Now, zooming in to the 4th and the 10th house, for you, the 4th house is a time where you've been involved in home, family, comfort, surrounding your feelings, and spending time from home too, and perhaps even focusing on aesthetics around the house. These are the types of things you could take a look at in the 4th house. But in general, for a lot of you, because Pluto has been here for a while, what I believe you have been really working through for quite some time is your upbringing, and how your upbringing has impacted you emotionally all throughout the other areas of your life. The 4th house is such a vital house, and it brings powerful change when we focus on the psychology of who we are and how we got to this point. And nothing is good or bad in the sense that we are, to change something because our upbringing was a particular way. It might be that way for you, but I think for a lot of you, what you're seeing now is that you can actually detach from something that you maybe don't necessarily want to live through again, or you don't want to have this same kind of pattern again. So with Capricorn, we're taking a look at the Sun, Pluto, and Venus being in Capricorn here in the 4th house. For you guys, we're taking a look at patterns that have a lot to do with people just overpowering you, where you're not able to make the decisions. And that is, in a nutshell, I think, for a lot of the Libra risings, a very true statement that you have sort of not been the person who manages making the choices for yourself and your own emotional well-being. And as a result of it, you could have maybe experienced this hardship around that, somebody else's decision-making impacts you. Now, why do I say decision-making? This full moon is going to be taking a look at the 10th house. The 10th house is where the moon is going to be at. The sun is going to be in the 4th house. If you're new to astrology, any full moon is an opposition between the sun and the moon. It is a time where we have to undo. It is a time where we are breaking through, or it is a time where we are coming to a climax of some sort of anything that began either during the new moon or other eclipses that happened within the cycle during that new moon or the solar eclipse that we had. So for you in general, what I am seeing here is that you are really in a place where you're going to come to a point with this full moon. What I'm predicting for you guys is that you are going to start to see that you are the person who is now going to be in the role of decision making again. This is really interesting. Now, what is the decision-making about? Well, the decision-making has to do with a time where you're also involved in the way in which you see yourself in the world, emotionally speaking, okay? The actions you take in the world, and where are they being fueled from? What has been the story up until this now, and what will be the story moving forward? There's a very deliberate and very distinct new way in which you're going to move forward. And it has to do with what has happened up until this point, where Pluto is now asking you to open up to a whole new emotional comfort zone within yourself. And not really like you have to open up to it, but you're just naturally going to be opening up to it. Okay. How is this going to occur? Well, the way it's occurring is that you're coming to the end of a cycle this week where you are starting to realize that you have done so much in regards to who you are, what you've been maybe looking at within yourself, and it sort of reaches an emotional end now with a particular story that has to do with people having power over you. Okay, that is what this is about. Now, you might experience, and I'm going to say this as a prediction here as well, you might experience this week where a lot of emotions come up between the past and the future and the present time. So it's going to be, I'm not saying that it's going to be the easiest time to navigate, but it's going to be intense. It's going to be intense in the way that I want you to think about the word catharsis. And when we think about the word catharsis, there is something that is bringing us back to a sense of wholeness, but it also comes with purging. And so there's a purging that's happening. There is a allowance and a space that I believe that this full moon is asking you to create, especially during this week. Allow for things to come up. What are you learning about yourself? What are you learning about your thoughts? What are you learning about the way in which you think and feel? And how is this now impacting your legacy moving forward? This is, in a nutshell, what you are going to, I believe, as a theme, what you might be experiencing during this time. Now, what's so powerful about this week is that the very next day we have some more changes that are really big that are happening, and they have to do with the nodal switches. So the nodes, the North Node and the South Node, if you're new to astrology, they remain in a sign for 18 months. And every 18 months, they change signs, and they're always going to be in an opposition because they come in pairs, okay? So what we're taking a look at here is that the South Node and the North Node, they were in Sagittarius and Gemini. Let's recap real quick. So what does that mean? The North Node was in your 9th house in the sign of Gemini. This is a time where you have been really taking a look at your own personal freedom. Do you feel free in life? Do you feel free to get your ideas out into the world? And what does that look like? What does it actually look like to publish anything you're doing, or to put your ideas out into the world, or to simply be in a place where your higher mind is something that you're paying attention to, right? Is this something you're paying attention to? Is this something that you are, really reevaluating? Is what the North Node in Gemini has brought into the picture. Now, you've had a lot of changes here, the way in which you view your life, the way in which you view yourself, and in particular, the way in which you view also commitments, okay? Your commitments to anything in your life. Now, the South Node has been in Sagittarius, realigning what's actually true. What's actually true about the way in which you think? What's actually true in the way in which your mind is working, right? You may have had a lot of sort of moments where you had to reevaluate your approach to your mindset, and then also how that impacts the bigger picture. Are you able to maintain the bigger picture? Now, during this time, over the last 18 months, I think you've come to a lot of powerful conclusions. Some of those things are going to still get worked out, but you're finishing up this chapter. And so this chapter is now switching, where you feel maybe more intellectually ready, more ready in a philosophy kind of a way to publish your ideas and move out into the world. And so then the chapter is being turned by the nodes switching into Taurus and into Scorpio. This is a different kind of reality and a different kind of theme. The 8th house is where the North Node in Taurus is going to be. The South Node in Scorpio is going to be in the 2nd house. What is the 8th house? The 8th house is a time where you're involved in all things that require commitment, that require boundaries. This also has a lot to do with our sex life. It has to do with, it can have anything to do with addiction or drugs or anything that kind of is in the realm of drugs, or in the realm of some kind of, thing that we're attached to through drugs or alcohol or something like that. Now, the 8th house is also shared resources. It's mystery, it's deep psychology. It can have to do with inheritance, something that is being either money that's being left or some kind of property, could be property. So here, the North Nodes are going to go into this area of your life, and there is now a reevaluation on what happens in this area of your life. What is the value of those things, right? With the North Node in Taurus, you're taking a look at the value of what is it like to feel worthy in these areas? What is it like to play a different role in this area? And has the role that you've played up until this point, worked out for you? These are the types of questions I believe we're going to work through in the 8th house for you over the next 18 months. Now, the South Node is going to be in Scorpio. And the South Node is a position where we're realigning. Okay, it's a realigning. It's not something we're trying to cut out of our life. It's not something we're completely trying to walk away, which is what you hear a lot in astrology. In my opinion, the South Node works together with the North Node. And what my experience have been with this aspect in the chart is that there is a realignment that has to happen. And so the realignment here for you has to do with the second house theme, and it's all about money. It's going to be about money. It's going to be about possessions, and in general about security. What does it look like to feel financially secure? What does it look like to feel that that aspect of your life is supported to you? And perhaps it's been a long time that you've been able to work on this, or it felt like that you were never able to work on this aspect of your life. And so you are bringing this aspect back into review, and you're going to become so much stronger. That is my prediction for a lot of you. You are going to become a lot stronger. You're going to understand what in your life was actually creating a lot of crisis in the past. And what do you need now? Where does your security belong now? What do you need to do about that? What are the actions that you need to take? And a lot of you, I feel, you will also discover maybe, I don't want to say a side hustle, but I want to say that there is going to be another way to make money that you've never considered before. And it could have a lot to do with real estate, or it could have a lot to do with sales. I feel that the second house brings money in a way that's really valuable when, of course, there is a powerful transit that goes through it. So my prediction for you guys is this, that you are going to really learn a lot about what it means to feel secure, especially in the realm of finances, in the realm of resources, value, and what your commitments to your overall life look like as a result of it. Okay, so and this is really interesting. Now, what is happening in the big event of this week is that you're going to start to get the glimpse of where life is taking you now with this new sense of security that you're going to be working on. And that is because the sun will be trining the North Node in Taurus. So the North Node will be in Taurus. I know you can't see this right now in the chart. Let me just see if I can move forward a little bit so that I can show you this aspect. Let's go a day ahead. Yep. Boom. There it is. So on the 19th, the sun is going to be trining the North Node. This is a very visionary transit, in my opinion. That's what I'm seeing here, is that the sun is now illuminating an aspect of your life that you will really work over, but it also comes with a letting go. Okay. That's my prediction for a lot of you. You're going to understand an aspect about your emotional comfort zone that you had not understood before. And it has to do with your ability to make decisions, the ability to call the shots, the ability to make powerful choices that work for you. Okay. I'm predicting that at the very least, you guys are going to gain that clarity. Now, for a lot of you, if you've been dealing with a particular relationship dynamic in your life, there is a surprising element to this relationship dynamic that you now are breaking away from this relationship. You don't have to be under the power over from this relationship anymore. That is what I'm predicting for a lot of you. You're going to start to get the sense that this story is now ending. Okay, so who you're becoming as a result of it is going to shape over the next 18 months, but this aspect is going to change. Now, what's also really interesting is that very same day, Uranus is moving direct. And I thought that was very interesting, right? Like the universe is brilliant every time. It never fails us. The planets are brilliant. They never fail us, right? It is just our way of interpreting everything and seeing it through that lens. Uranus, the planet that, really helps us to break through in different ways, in ways we didn't maybe imagine before, is going to station to go direct the same time in Taurus. Okay. So it's going to bring something surprising up to the surface here that I think you're again, this is now a glimpse into what's possible in your life, actually. The eighth house is a very powerful house in the sense that, there's a reality that you're going to shape now that is completely different. And, being open to that reality, letting that reality manifest is going to be the key now, that you are looking at yourself as someone who is performing inside of that new story, right? And looking at yourself less as someone who is sort of in a place where you feel that you have made so much financial sacrifices and like had setbacks because of it. That story is ending. That's what I'm seeing for a lot of you. And what's taking place is that you start to see that your life is now going to have a lot more better management when it comes to money. So there's that. Okay. It's again, the details will get worked out. So the other thing I want to mention is that Venus will station direct, and that is going to be on January 29th. And Venus has been now in your fourth house for quite some time, since November 5th, Venus in Capricorn. Okay. So what is that for you? Venus here is been focusing a lot on your processes around what your goals are when it comes to comfort, what you define as comfort. And for a lot of you, you have to sort of during this time, you may have been in this place where you're reviewing your comfort zones, but maybe creating new ones, because you're realizing that maybe certain comfort foods are not working. You're realizing that maybe certain aesthetics around the house are not working, or you're realizing that you have to upgrade of some sort in order to have a different experience as a result of it. Now, for many of you, this has a lot to do also with creating a lot more peace, and some things around either your home life or the emotional comfort zone now are going to change as well. But it comes again, I really do feel that for a lot of the Libra risings, it comes with an ending stage. It comes with a time where there is an ending now, and there's a new initiation and a new passion that is coming out of this in regards to what you want to create in your life. And you have learned what you needed to learn in regards to your very own ambition and drive. And so when Venus comes to 11 degrees to station to go direct, there's a sense of being back home, feeling like you're coming back home to yourself, feeling like that you are truly in this place where, you can build. That is what I'm predicting for many of you, that you are going to feel like you can build now on a better and a much more suiting foundation in an emotional sense because of what you've discovered. And lastly, I do want to share with a lot of you is that you could also realize that during this transit, there are some foods or things that you are that you have in the house that you're eating that or drinking that are no longer going to work either. This is not going to be true for all of you, but with the Venus transit in the fourth house, you could be taking a look at digestive system. You could be taking a look at the way in which you're eating and what, provides sort of comfort in that area. So meaning, what feels good in the body, because Venus can rule over the body as well, in my opinion. So what I'm seeing here for a lot of you is that you might be exchanging different foods or cutting certain foods out because they're not working anymore. So that's what I'm seeing here for your astrology chart. Let's move on to your tarot reading. So the next thing we're going to do is dive into your tarot spread and the tarot reading and what else we can expect here for the rest of January of 2022. The first two cards that you see here is the Queen of Spades and the Seven of Spades. These are the spiritual messages we saw at the very beginning of this reading. And then the very first card that actually fell out here is the Queen of Cups. Beautiful card. again, an emotional balance that is returning, a much, much needed emotional balance that is returning. Anytime we see the cups, it is an emotional management. The queen is the management of our emotions. And with this Queen of Cups, what I'm predicting for a lot of you is that for the first time in a while, you feel like you are in control again and you are in command of your future. And you feel very passionate. So it's a passionate time, it's an emotional time. I don't know about you, but I feel that majority of the Libras could be in this place where they feel like finally they're able to release. We have boundary cards, all three of these. Queen of Cups, the World, and the Devil is boundaries. It's setting boundaries with people who are inviting you to basically stay attached to them, which is something that you could have attracted, especially over the last 8 years and plus. So I feel that for some of you, it is a story that goes way back. And for some of you, it is a story that perhaps is going way back, but emotionally, you still had to work on releasing this aspect. And look at the amazing cards you have, the Empress. The road is open now. You know, that's what the universe is wanting for you to see. The road is open. You don't have to look for the other shoe to drop, Five of Swords. So we have the Empress. We have the Five of Swords. This is a time where you have to grow out of finding maybe something that you feel like is going to go wrong and believing that it's going to go right. This is going to be a little bit of a trippy month because a part of you is not used to this kind of a life. Now, when it comes to finances, I think that for a lot of you, you are realizing that there's a part of you that is going to have to step into a different definition of how you're going to earn your money, or a different definition of how you want to make money. And there's two paths here. One path seems easy. The other path doesn't seem so easy. The path that doesn't seem so easy is the path to pursue. Seven of Pentacles. Now, up until this point, everything you experienced through this other relationship brought you to the point where you realize that what's been holding you back is sort of a missing of boundaries. The World card and the Devil combined is a boundary setting. You are setting this boundary now, and because you're setting the boundary, you're actually able to walk away from anything that feels like it's not allowing for you to manifest in your life. There's a person that was here that really just energetically, physically, spiritually, you name it, they've been sort of holding this energy kind of for you. And of course, with your agreement, right? You participated at some level in it because you wanted them to feel better, to be better. That was your contribution. And they didn't stop there. They didn't take responsibility for their sets of things. And so this is a responsibility and negotiation period. Whether now you are negotiating to still come out of this, there could be a contract involved. There could be something involved where you are going to have to negotiate to go into a better realm as far as the finances go, but you're going to have to ask for it. And it's going to be given. Four of Wands, Eight of Cups. Do you believe that you can move out of this realm of constantly attracting the things that cause a headache and move into the realm where it's safety, it's secure, you can be adamant about what it is that you're building, you can stay strong in this new picture and vision, in this new approach? This is big. Somehow, for some of you, I don't know, you're going to have to hear this. For some of you, it's not going to speak to everybody. Somehow gardening and flowers play a role. I don't know if there's an incident that you need to watch out for, particular flowers or gardening. Something like this is coming up right now. I don't know why, but I am going to give you obviously that message. So if you maybe need to go and reconnect, maybe you need to buy yourself some flowers, maybe you need to just go somewhere where there's like just more of a garden setting, or walking through some kind of a garden setting will allow for you to reconnect to beauty or reconnect to parts that you appreciate. Something like this is going to be needed during this time as well. The Eight of Cups basically is a beautiful ending, that it's final. Whatever you want to be final will be final. And it will be final
through a written version. There's news that's coming in, and it's good news. Very welcomed news. And I think at first you may not feel something, but at the end of the month, as you start to process through what has been happening, let out a good cry, go celebrate, go do the thing that your body's asking you to do to release it. Beautiful reading.
That's a wrap on today's episode. I hope that you liked this video. I hope that it provided you the guidance that you need in order to navigate through this month. Thank you so much for being here. I would love to stay connected to you, so be sure to subscribe. You can also follow me on Instagram or TikTok at Uprise Astrology Podcast, and I will see you here in the next episode.